Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So, for this morning I'll be doing some readings from Stillness Flowing, which is the Life and Teachings of Ajahn Chah by Ajahn Jayasaro. And I'll be doing readings from the chapter called The Heart of the Matter, Meditation Teachings, which is chapter 6. And the quotes are generally by Ajahn Chah unless otherwise stated. And this chapter begins with a quote from Majjhima Nikaya 19. What can be done for his disciples by a master who seeks their welfare and has compassion and pity on them, that I have done for you, monks. There are these roots of trees, there are empty places. Meditate, monks. Do not delay, lest you later regret it. This is my message to you. It's not possible to simply train the mind, neglecting actions and speech. These things are connected. Practicing with the mind until it's smooth, refined, and beautiful is similar to producing a finished wooden pillar or plank. Before you can obtain a pillar that is smooth, varnished, and attractive, you must first go and cut a tree down. Then you must cut off the rough parts, the roots and branches, before you split it, saw it, and work it. Practicing with the mind is the same as working with the tree. You have to work with the coarse things first. You have to destroy the rough parts, destroy the roots, destroy the bark, and everything which is unattractive, in order to obtain that which is attractive and pleasing to the eye. You have to work through the rough to reach the smooth. You must sustain awareness at every moment and in every posture, whether standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. Before you perform any action, speak, or engage in conversation, first establish your awareness. Practice like this until you are fluent. Practice so that you can keep abreast of what's going on in the mind. Practice to the point at which mindfulness becomes effortless, and you are mindful before you act, mindful before you speak. The aspect of the mind which identifies and chooses the good from the bad, the right from the wrong, amongst all the mind objects within your field of awareness, is a nascent form of pañña. Defilements are like a cat. If you spoil a cat, then it will come around all the time. But suppose one day it starts rubbing up against your leg and you don't feed it. It will meow angrily, but if you refuse to give it any food, within a day or two you won't see it anymore. It's the same with defilements. If you don't follow them, then before long they won't come to disturb you anymore. And from then on, you'll be at peace. Make the defilements afraid of you. Don't make yourself afraid of defilements. Look deeply. What is the present state of your mind? Simply stay with that awareness. If you keep that up, you will have a foundation. You have mindfulness and alertness, whether standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. If you see anything coming up, then just let it be. Don't attach to it. liking and disliking, pleasure and pain, doubts and faith, are all just the mind commentating upon and reflecting on its experience. Examine its results. Don't put labels on things. Know what they are. See everything that arises in the mind as merely a mental state, something impermanent that, having arisen, persists for a while and then ceases. Things are merely processes. There's no self, no real separation between others and ourselves. There's nothing that should be clung to. Mental cultivation, bhavana, means setting right your thoughts and opinions. Its aim is letting go. The various methods are like different kinds of fish traps. They differ in form, but ultimately they all share the same purpose. So here, although I don't insist upon a particular form of meditation, I usually teach people to focus on the word Buddho, or on the breath for a sufficient period, and then to gradually deepen their knowledge and view of the way things are. Quote on breath meditation. Compelling the mind to focus on the breath is sila. The unremitting focus on the breath, bringing the mind to a state of lucid calm, is called samadhi. Letting go of attachment through contemplation of the focused breath as impermanent, unstable, and selfless is called pañña. Therefore, the practice of mindfulness of breathing can be said to be the development of sila, samadhi, and pañña. Someone practicing it can be taken to be following the Eightfold Path, which the Buddha taught was the foremost, the most excellent of all paths, as it leads towards nibbana. If you follow in the way I've described, then that may be considered realizing the Buddha Dhamma in the most authentic possible way. Meditate reciting Buddho, Buddho, until it penetrates deep into your heart. The word Buddho represents the awareness and wisdom of the Buddha. In practice, you must depend on this word more than anything else. The awareness it brings will lead you to understand the truth about your own mind. It is a true refuge, as it includes both mindfulness and insight. When your mind is consciously applied to an object, it wakes up. The awareness wakes it up. Once this knowing has arisen through meditation, you can see the mind clearly. As long as the mind remains without the awareness of Buddho, even if there is an ordinary worldly presence of mind, it will not lead you to what is truly beneficial. Sati or mindfulness depends on the presence of Buddho, the knowing. It must be a clear knowing, which leads to the mind becoming brighter and more radiant. The illuminating effect that this clear knowing has on the mind is similar to the brightening of a light in a darkened room. As long as the room is pitch black, any objects placed inside remain difficult to distinguish or else completely obscured from view. But as you begin intensifying the brightness of the light inside, it will penetrate throughout the whole room, enabling you to see more clearly from moment to moment, thus allowing you to know more and more the details of any objects inside. Quote on Body Contemplation. You must repeatedly investigate the body and break it down into its component parts. As you see each part as it truly is, the perception of body being a solid entity or self is gradually eroded away. You have to keep putting continuous effort into this investigation of the truth, without pause. Practice contemplating the body as being just that much, until it is quite natural to think to yourself, oh, the body is merely the body. It's just that much. Once this way of reflection is established, as soon as you say to yourself that it's just that much, the mind lets go. There is letting go of attachment to the body. There is the insight that sees the body as merely the body. By sustaining this sense of detachment through continuous seeing of the body as merely a body, all doubt and uncertainty is gradually uprooted. As you investigate the body, the more clearly you see it as just a body rather than as a person, a being, a me, or a he, or a she. So now I will read some quotes from this section on the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances, of course, obstacles to meditation are kamachanda, sensual desire, biyapada, ill will, tinamida, sloth and torpor, udacha, kukucha, agitation, guilt, remorse, and vichakiccha, doubt and indecision. So start with the first hindrance, sensual desire, beginning with Ajahn Jayasaro's comments. In dealing with this hindrance, Luang Por emphasized the protection of sense restraint. Eating little, sleeping little, talking little were made key principles for the Sangha at Wat Pah Pong. The mind was taught to avoid becoming engrossed in the general appearance or particular features of any sense object. It was not possible to simply turn off a habit of indulgence in sensual pleasures for the duration of a meditation session. There also had to be a constant effort to govern such desires in daily life. As the key condition for this hindrance is dwelling unwisely on the attractive aspects of sensual experience, the specific antidote lies in replacing it with wise reflection on the unattractive aspects. Sexual desire being the most potent and disruptive expression of the hindrance, it is the one to which most specific remedies are applied. Quote, visualize the body as a corpse in the process of decay, or think of the parts of the body such as lungs, spleen, fat, feces, and so forth. Remember these and visualize this loathsome aspect of the body when lust arises. This will free you from lust. If you look at the human body and you like what you see, then ask yourself why. Investigate it. Look at head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, and skin. The Buddha taught us to hammer in the reflection on these things. Distinguish them one by one. Separate them from the body. Visualize setting fire to them or peeling off the skin. Do that until you become fluent. Quote on the working with the second hindrance, ill will. You must use loving kindness. When angry states of mind arise in meditation, balance them by developing feelings of loving kindness. If someone does something bad or gets angry, don't get angry yourself. If you do, you're being more ignorant than they are. Be wise. Keep compassion in mind, for that person is suffering. Fill your mind with loving kindness as if he were a dear brother. Concentrate on the feeling of loving kindness as a meditation subject. Spread it to all beings in the world. Only through loving kindness is hatred overcome. Sometimes you may see other monks behaving badly. You may get annoyed. This is suffering unnecessarily. It is not yet our Dhamma. You may think like this. He is not as strict as I am. They are not serious meditators like us. Those monks are not good monks. This is a great defilement on your part. Do not make comparisons. Do not discriminate. Let go of your opinions and watch your mind. This is our Dhamma. You can't possibly make everyone act as you wish or to be like you. This wish will only make you suffer. It is a common mistake for meditators to make, but watching other people won't develop wisdom. Simply examine yourself, your feelings. This is how you will understand. Third hindrance, sloth and torpor, beginning with Ajahn Jayasaro's comments. Monks were encouraged to observe factors that increased or decreased their tendency towards laziness and mental dullness. Food intake was one obvious variable. Quote, if you find yourself sleepy every day, try to eat less. Examine yourself. As soon as 5 more spoonfuls will make you full, stop. Then take water until just properly full. Go and sit. Watch your sleepiness and hunger. You must learn to balance your eating. As your practice goes on, you will feel naturally more energetic and eat less, but you must adjust yourself. Luang Por gave many exhortations aimed at inspiring in his disciples the wholesome desire to strive for freedom from defilement and to realize inner liberation. It was bearing this wholesome desire, Dhammachanda, in mind that played the largest role in guarding against the hindrance of sloth and torpor. Without cultivating this strong aspiration to penetrate the Four Noble Truths, meditators going through periods of emotional turmoil or strong defilement could find their minds retreating into dullness during meditation as a means of anesthetizing their mental pain. Quote, there are many ways to overcome sleepiness. If you are sitting in the dark, move to a lighted place. Open your eyes. Get up and wash your face or take a shower. If you are sleepy, change postures. Walk a lot. Walk backwards. The fear of running into things will keep you awake. If this fails, stand still, clear the mind, and imagine it is full daylight. Or sit on the edge of a high cliff or deep well. You won't dare sleep. If nothing works, then just go to sleep. Lay down carefully and try to be aware until the moment you fall asleep. Then, as you awaken, get right up. Don't look at the clock or roll over. Start practicing mindfulness from the moment you wake up. When you feel diligent, practice. When you feel lazy, practice. Quote on working with agitation and worry. Working with the agitated, worrying mind. When it darts about, it's right there. You don't follow it, but you're aware of it. Where could it go? It's in the cage. It can't go anywhere. Your problem is that you don't want anything going on in your mind. Luang Por Mun called that vacant state tree stump samadhi. If your mind is darting around, know that it's doing that. If it's motionless, then know that. What more do you need? Just have the measure of both movement and stillness. If today the mind is peaceful, then see it as a foundation for wisdom. But people like peace. It makes them happy. They say, today I had a wonderful sitting, so peaceful. There, if you think like that, then the next day it will be hopeless. Your mind will be a jumble. And then it's, oh, today my sitting was terrible. Then the final hindrance, doubt and indecision, beginning with Ajahn Jayasaro's comments. In the early days of Wat Pah Pong, the majority of the monastics and lay supporters received only the rudiments of a formal education and had strong confidence in Luang Por. They were not given too much pondering over their teachings, over the teachings. Their main doubts would center on whether or not they wanted to remain as monks. In later years, with more people from the city coming to the monastery and growing number of Western disciples, overthinking became more of an issue in the monastery. Doubts about the teacher, the teaching, the student's ability to practice, the teacher's teaching multiplied. Luang Por's response to the chronic doubters was always to point out, doubting never stops because of someone else's words. Doubts come to an end through your own actions. Another quote. If you doubt everything, then you'll become totally miserable. You'll be off your food and unable to sleep, spending your whole time chasing after this view and that. What you must bear in mind is that your mind is a liar. Mental states are just that way. They don't last. Don't run around with them. Just know them with equanimity. As one doubt passes away and a new one arises in its place, be aware of that for what it is as well. Then you'll be at ease. If you rush about after your doubts, then not only will you be unhappy, but the doubts will increase. And conclude with a quote Luang Por once reassured a Western disciple with. Doubting is natural. Everyone starts out with doubts. You can learn a great deal from them. What is important is that you don't identify with your doubts. That is, don't get caught up in them. This will spin your mind in endless circles. Instead, watch the whole process of doubting, of wondering. See who it is that doubts. See how doubts come and go. Then you will no longer be victimized by your doubts. You will step outside of them, and your mind will be quiet. You can see how all things come and go. Just let go of what you are attached to. Let go of your doubts and simply watch. This is how to end doubting. So I'll leave it there.